Hey, I'm Kyle Jenks, and I've been training with the gymnastics rings for over a decade now, and this is the tool I use to stay in shape as a 52-year-old, and this is also how I train all my clients. So today's session is a bent arm strength training system. Now, what I mean by bent arm training strength is that the elbow is bending at all times. So we're going to be doing all the essential bent arm movements, which is vertical pulling, vertical pressing, horizontal pulling, and horizontal pressing. We're also going to be finishing off with some flexion and extension of the elbow, and we're going to do some posterior work through the shoulders. So we have set up here 2 sets of rings to show you an advanced version of the exercise and an easier version of the exercise. So it really doesn't matter what level you're at, anyone can do this workout. So the first thing I'm going to do is chalk up. Now, chalk is a pretty good tool to use when you're using the gymnastics rings because it just gives you that extra grip, so you're able to get a lot more out of your training system. So you get yourself a block of chalk and just chalk yourself up. It's going to make a significant difference. So for the first exercise, we're going to start off with a vertical pull-up. So with a vertical pull-up, we're using a pronated grip, so palms are facing forward. I've got these rings adjusted nice and high up, and this is for the more advanced person. Now, what we're trying to go for here is not for reps. We're actually going for time and attention. So the time and attention that you want to try achieve here is 60 to 90 seconds to get maximal muscle tension and hypertrophy through the muscles. And also this will ensure that it's not too much of a ligament and tendon load on your joints. So for example, with this pull-up, a lot of people aren't going to be able to do 90 seconds of pull-ups. So I'm going to demonstrate how you can drop set this type of exercise to make it achievable and try to get out 90 seconds. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put on a 90-second timer on my watch here and take you through the system. Here we go. Hey Siri, put on a 90-second timer.
One minute and 30 seconds, counting down.
Right, here we go. So palms facing forward. The first part of the movement is to activate the shoulders and get up as high as you can. So trying to get out maximal repetitions, ensuring really good form. You don't want to be jerking up and down. You want to be doing the exercise with control. The minute you start shaking up and down and using momentum, you're going to put yourself at a likelihood of injuring your ligaments and tendons or joints, right? So I can feel now, okay, I'm starting to get a little bit fatigued. And I'm just going to drop set it now. And I've got the rings here at shoulder height. And I'm simply just going to use my legs to help me with the assistance. So you can see I've got my ankles up here. I'm going to pull down with my shoulders, come up, get maximal pull, get the elbows down and back, and slowly come back down again. Activate the shoulder blades, get the elbows tucked down and back, scoop the pelvis up and under, lock everything in, and slowly down. So I'm really trying to activate my lats here. So you see I've got my lats on, so I'm getting the back muscles to do the job. Squeeze my elbows down and back, getting maximal contraction, and slowly down. Another thing you want to try to do is breathe through your nose. Okay, cool. So there's my 90-second timer is done. And what I'm going to do next is take a 90-second recovery, and I'm going to repeat this for 3 sets. Okay, so that's a 90-second recovery. I'm giving you a bit of a side view so you can get a better understanding of how to do the movements. So hanging down, activating shoulder, and up. And going for my max reps. All right, drop setting into the feet assisted version. Now watch how the trajectory of my body is slightly back, because if you pull up and you go here, you lose the tension. So shoulders on, activate, squeeze butt up and under, lock elbows in, slowly back down. Activate shoulders, squeeze shoulders down and back, easy down. And just keep going till the 90-second timer goes off. Notice how I'm breathing through my nose. By breathing through your nose, you tap into your parasympathetic nervous system, which is your calm, restorative nervous system. You want to be breathing like this through your nose as much as possible, because you're going to create far more development from the muscles just by nose breathing. But we'll get into that in depth on another channel, or another video, I should say. Okay, so moving into round 3. Get the timer on. Bit of a back view, so you've got, again, a better understanding of how to do the movements with good technique. Okay, so for the vertical press-ups, I'm going to be elevating my feet up onto the box and doing a vertical press. So I'm going to drop set it to more challenging, to an easier variation, and I'm putting on a 90-second timer, and as I fatigue through the elevated variation, I'll drop set the box, make it lower. All right, so here we go, 90-second timer. Hey Siri, put on a 90-second timer. Okay.
1 minute and 30 seconds.
Cool.
Counting down.
So when I'm traveling forward here, I'm trying to keep my hips over my shoulders, and I'm trying to form a tripod. So the head goes forward and then pressing up into the shoulders, looking back into the knees to ensure a full range of motion. Pressing up and back, 2. All right, so let's say I'm starting to fatigue there, and I'm going to bring the box down a little bit lower. So you can use a chair or a table. You don't have to have a fancy box. And same thing. Head forward, forming the tripod, locking the elbows out at the top. So I'm feeling that I'm going to fatigue there. So what we do next is just do a pike press up now to finish it off to the 90 seconds. So feet on the floor, get the head forward, and much easier variation, just to manage that extra time and attention that we've incorporated into this. All right, so that's the drop set of the pike press up. Okay, so we're back onto a vertical pulling exercise. So we've done a pronated grip. Now we're going to do a supinated grip. So palms facing in towards you. This is going to target the biceps more and more the middle of the back. Whereas a pronated grip is more lats. So here we go. So palms facing in. I've got the higher variation and the easier variation to obviously drop set. So again, we're going to go for the 90-second timer. And let's see how we go. Hey Siri, put on a 90-second timer.
1 minute and 30 seconds. Counting down.
Okay, so activating shoulders again, lifting the chest up to the ceiling, controlling all the way down. up, and controlling down. And just moving into that point where I can feel I'm starting to fatigue. Activate shoulders. I'm feeling maybe I can get one more with decent form. Okay, now moving into the drop set variation. Remember, if those are too difficult, you can just do this variation of the exercises. Activate shoulders, pull up, get a nice lock in. 1, 2, 3. Control it down. Shoulders on. Activate up, squeeze butt, squeeze abs. Pull the hands down below the shoulders. And release down. Shoulders on. Pull up, squeeze hands below the shoulders. Push the chest up, squeeze the butt, squeeze the abs. Controlling down. Nose breathing, if you can do it and tolerate it. And just moving towards the 90-second mark. "90 seconds. So now I'm taking a 90-second recovery. So I just go repeat and have a bit of a recovery. The recovery is just as important as the exercise. If you don't give yourself enough time to recover, you're going to be fatigued before you can even start the next set. So eat some humble pie, take a water, do some nose breathing, get your heart rate down, recover properly. Your workout is only as good as your recovery. All right, so giving you a slightly different angle here. Supinated grip, activate shoulders, pull up, control on the way down. Activate shoulders, up. Nice and controlled. You rather want to do less reps, slower. That way you're going to get much better tension on the muscles and much better activation that way. Try to squeeze out one more. All right, back to the drop set now. So this is a nice variation because I can follow really good form and technique and ensure that I don't pick up any injuries, and leaving the ego at the door and working on good technique, good form, maximal results. Slowly down, feel the stretch, activate the lats, coming up, squeezing the butt up and under, lowering nice and easy down. All right, so that's my 90-second timer. Going to take my 90-second recovery, do some deep nose breathing. A technique that I use to recover better is to do some coherence breathing. What I mean by coherence breathing is we're going to do 5 seconds inhale, 5 seconds exhale. So it goes something like this. In the nose, exhale through the nose, inhale through the nose, exhale through the nose. And you repeat that. Something I like to do with my watch is I look at my heart rate, I relax myself, I do the coherence breathing, the breathing in for 5 seconds, breathing out for 5 seconds through the nose, and I've noticed how significant my heart rate will drop down and have me recovered within that 90-second period. Give it a go, it really works. All right, so the next vertical push we're going to do is below the shoulder, the dips. So the dips, the ring dips, is possibly one of the best chest strength exercises. And don't take my word for it. They've actually done studies and done EMG tests on the muscles, and the ring dips came out as the optimal and the ultimate strength stimulus for the chest. So if you want to get really good chest workout, the ring dips is the way to go. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a drop set with the ring dips with my feet not or just suspended like a normal dip. And then I'm going to use the box as an assistant so I can get my feet to help me. So as norm for this workout, we're doing a 90-second load. So we're going to do the 90-second timer. Hey Siri, put on a 90-second timer.
1 minute and 30 seconds, counting down.
All right, so here we go. So dips without any support. See, I've got my knees bent, stretching down, getting maximal range of motion, pushing up, driving up through the shoulders, locking the elbows at the top range of motion. Stretch it out, lock it out at the top. Maybe go for one more. Now I'm going to drop set, feet on the box, pushing down, coming forward. Nice big stretch in the shoulders, bring the knees down, driving up, pushing the shoulder blades apart. Slowly control down, getting maximal range. And pumping up. So slowly down. I like to give it a pause at the bottom, feel the stretch in the shoulders, drive up out of the hole, lock the shoulder blades apart. You really want to push those shoulder blades apart on this exercise so you don't incur a shoulder injury. Because if you don't push your shoulder blades apart, the upper traps end up overworking and it internally rotates the shoulder way too much and it can cause nerve impingement on that shoulder. All right, there you go. Big chest pump on that one. Going to take my 90-second break and then get back for the next round. Okay, so we're looking at a slightly different angle here. Getting the timer on for the 90 seconds. And here we go. So top range, pushing through the shoulders, leaning forward, getting maximal stretch up, and driving up, locking the shoulders at the top. Nice and forward, locking at the top. Forward, max stretch, driving up. So to keep it safe, I could maybe have pushed a fourth one out there, but I'm not going to chance any risk of injury. I'm just going to eat a bit of humble pie and go into the easier variation because there's going to be plenty to do here, just with the feet supported, lots of tension through the shoulders and the chest. Really just working those ranges of motion, getting nice constant tension on the muscle, all controlled, super safe. Thing about the rings, you can get this constant tension. A lot of times with weights, you lose the tension curve just from the mere angle of how the trajectory of the weights is used. Whereas in the rings, you're in constant tension. Everything's working too. You're not just lying on a bench. Your nervous system is on. Everything has to stabilize. Everything has to switch on. So you're just getting more bang for your buck as far as workout goes. Nice and far down. All right, there's my 90 seconds. Done. Okay, and again, 90-second recovery onto the third set. Okay, so I'm now going to be moving on to the next movement, which is a horizontal row, and I'm going to be doing a neutral grip row with this one. So again, we're going to put on a 90-second timer and do the more difficult variation to start off with, and then ease it into a more manageable variation to make it achievable so you can get the 90 seconds. And also, this is also great for anyone can do this. So it shows you, so you can go like advanced level to beginner level. Anyone can use these rings. So here we go, 90 seconds. Hey Siri, put on a 90-second timer. All right, so I'm going to start directly below the rings. I'm activating my shoulders, rowing up, getting the chest up, pause, 1, 2, 3, and controlling down. Let the shoulders stretch out, activate the shoulders, pull up, 2, 2, 3, control down. Stretch your shoulders out, activate them, 3, 2, 3, control down. So we'll try 2 more like this, shoulders on, 4, 2, 3, and down, and 1 more, and controlling down. So now I'm just going to take a step back, keep my hips up, and it's at a more manageable variation now. So shoulders on and back, 1, 2, 3. Notice how I'm trying to push my sternum up. When you get to the top here, avoid rolling the shoulders, rather push the chest out, squeeze the shoulders back, open up your shoulders, make your back muscles do all the work. You don't want the front of your shoulders doing all the work. So shoulders on, push the sternum out, feel the squeeze at the top, and control it down. When you first get on the rings, especially with these pulling exercises, you'll feel your grip strength can fatigue sometimes to start off with. That's my 90 seconds. So bear with the process, let your grip strength get nice and strong, it will adapt. All right, so there goes the timer again. I'm going to give you a side view to give you a better understanding of the movement. And here we go. So I'm starting off directly below the rings. I've got my hips thrust up, activating the shoulders, pulling up, pulling the shoulders back, getting the elbows down and back as much as I can, controlling the movement down, stretching out the shoulders. Don't let the hips drop down. Keep the hips up. Activate shoulders, pull up, squeeze, control, 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 control. Same thing, shoulders on, chest up, squeeze. So what I'm going to do is take a little micro adjustment back, keep going. Slowly release, really just focusing on that really good technique, feeling those shoulder blades retracting, feeling the lats turning on, holding the pause at the top, slowly coming down, little micro drop down, and keep going, keeping the tension nice and constant. Activate shoulders, pull up, push the chest up, lift up, squeeze the shoulder blades, release down, nice and controlled. Shoulders on, squeezing back, drop setting when I feel like I'm starting to fatigue. Opening up. So you can see any level that you want to do is attainable with these rings. They're such a versatile tool to work with. You don't need to go to the gym and hustle with everyone in the gym, pay expensive gym fees, and go through the whole conundrum, getting all the way to the gym, driving all the way back. You can just set yourself up with some rings at home and you're training, no problems. Okay, so the next movement is the pronated push-up. So what I mean by pronated here is that the palms are facing down. Pronated. Supinated is palms facing up, like holding a bowl of soup in your hands, if that's one way to remember it. So palms facing down, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my elbows outwards in this trajectory like that, because when we did the dips, we had a semi-supinated press, and now we're going into a pronated press. All right, so we're going to put the 90-second timer on, and we're going to drop set it by simply just walking forward to make it easier when I need to, yeah? So here we go. Hey Siri, put on a 90-second timer.
1 minute and 30 seconds, counting down.
So I've adjusted the rings here, so the bottom of the ring is just above my knee. You can adjust it and make it lower, but for this circuit I've just made it a little bit more manageable. So I'm going to come directly over. I'm going to squeeze my butt, squeeze my abs, and take my shoulders forward, bring my elbows out to the side, pronated grip, and coming down, feel the stretch in the shoulder, drive it through, lock out the shoulders. Inhale as I come down. Exhale, push up through the shoulders, keeping the abs locked in, keeping the glutes nice and tight so my lower back doesn't hyperextend or overflex. So with this exercise here, we're working more the top of the shoulders and the top of the chest. Nice, slow range of motion as usual. Maybe do one more like this, at this angle. Simply take a small step forward to make it more manageable, and just keeping the tension nice and constant, keeping the technique smooth and steady, pushing up through the shoulders at the end range of motion, bringing the elbows out, feeling the stretch in the shoulders, keeping the abs locked, keeping the butt locked, and just smooth, steady, constant tension on the muscle. All right, and there's the 90 seconds. Okay, so showing you a slightly different angle of the pronated grip press up. You see I've got my abs locked up and under, squeezing my butt cheeks like I'm cracking a nut in my butt cheeks. I don't want my back to arch. I want to keep my abs nice and locked in and flexed. Slowly down, keep the abs locked in, feel the maximal tension, press up through the shoulder blades. And so just keeping a nice constant tension through the body, through the abs, through the shoulders, through the chest, keeping the abs locked in, keeping the butt nice and tight. Everything's turned on. No leaking out through the lower back and doing this move where you see people dropping their back. Don't go there. You'll damage your lower back. So keep your abs tight, keep your butt tight. You really don't need to go and do sit-ups or crunches. Working on the rings is going to stimulate your abs with pretty much every single movement that you do. Some a little bit more than others, like this one, really targets the flexors of the abdominal wall, provided you keep your abs super tight. So I'm going to drop set it, take a bit of a step forward, lock the abs in, lock the butt, stretching, locking out at the top. Always just keeping the movements nice and steady, nice and controlled. Don't jerk around, don't be that person. And working up towards that whole long 90-second time period. And there we go, 90-second break, and we're on to round 3. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the latter quarter of the workout. And what we're going to do now is the flexors and extensors of the arms. So we're going to start off with the bicep curl. And here's how we do it. So leaning back into the rings, hands up in front of you, palms in a supinated grip, so palms facing up. Curl the hand up, bring the hands above the head, ensure your elbows stay out in front of you, and release. And guess what you do? Lock your abs in and lock your glutes in. And moving like that. So I'm going to put on a 90-second timer and proceed with that. I'm going to then drop set and go straight into the tricep press, which is going to be the next exercise, because the flexors, the arms, you don't need to have as long a rest in between. So here we go. Hey Siri, put on a 90-second timer.
1 minute and 30 seconds,
All right.
down.
So same concept. We're going to start with a little bit more challenging variation. So coming underneath, and the load is significantly more like this. Keeping the palms in a supinated grip, not letting the hands turn in like that. Keep them supinated and up. Ready, just loading up that bicep. by getting those hands above the head, like that. So I'm going to drop set it, go back slightly, and get it up there. Ready, as usual, going nice and slow and steady with the movements. Keeping the abs locked in, keeping the butt braced, just locking in that torso, keeping those flexors nice and strong so you don't hyperextend your back. What I mean by hyperextension is overarching your lower back. You don't want to go there. That can really hurt the lower back, create what I call a spondylolisthesis or hyperextension through the lower back. Extremely painful nerve damage on the back. So keep your butt locked in, keep your abs locked in, and look after your lumbar spine, lower back. So I'm just really working up, really feeling that nice big load through the biceps on this one. Keeping those hands coming above the head. That's where the magic happens, up there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to drop my ring down, and I'm going to go straight into a tricep press. So the tricep press, I'm going to bring the leverage down. It just works a little bit easier with this angle like this. And maybe take the ring up to the side here so we don't fall out of the camera angle. And let's give it a go. So 90 seconds. I'm going to start with a more challenging variation. Super challenging, abs tight, butt tight. Taking the hands over the back of the head, pressing through. Abs tight, butt tight. Not going to get many like that, so I'm going to take a step forward and continue the set with a little bit easier. So again, anyone can do this variation. You can just make it easier by stepping forward or stepping back, whatever the exercise is. Taking the hands behind the head, feeling the abs lock in, pressing the arms overhead. Really got to keep those abs tight and that butt tight. Okay, so into round two, most probably going to get a better view of the angle here because I've taken the camera back a little bit. So check this out. Back to the bicep curl. So 90-second timer on, making it a little bit more challenging. And curling up, getting those hands nicely above the head to get that maximal load up into the bicep. See, I'm keeping my hips up, keeping my abs tight, keeping my butt tight, and just going to my max reps like this. So already I can feel, wow, that's really starting to load up my biceps. So I'm going to just simply take a step back a bit, make it more manageable, and then finish off the set there, keeping the abs tight, keeping the butt tight, really working at not hyperextending the lower back. So you can see there's a lot going on here. You've got to concentrate about your abs. You've got to concentrate on getting technique on the upper body, keeping the tension nice and constant, not using momentum, keeping the load nice and steady, and simply just shuffle back if it's too much. Nice and steady wins the race with all these types of movements. You're far better off going a lighter load or an easier load with more control, and that's just going to make sure that you don't get injured. All right, just working up towards that 90-second range, keeping those abs nice and tight. Always locking in your abs, locking in your glutes. All right, so now I'm going to move into the tricep press. So I'm going to bring the ring down just that little bit to get a good leverage point on it. So I'm bringing it just down below my hips, mid-thigh. And get my 90-second timer on. and let's go. Abs tight, butt tight. Really focusing on keeping those abs super tight. Full range of motion. Pressing through, stretching out, abs tight, butt tight. Exercise starts getting a little bit challenging. Walk it forward. Keep the abs locked in. Full range of motion. So the beauty about the easier variations, you can really focus on your technique. See, I'm going for a full stretch there, locking my abs in, pressing out. Even going a little bit easier to really ensure I get that nice big stretch. So the great thing about this is you're not only getting strong, but you're encouraging your body to become flexible too, in a strength capacity. So anyone can go to yoga and go get flexible, but are they flexible and strong like a gymnast? No. So you want to get flexible and strong? This is the way to do it. I'm really focusing on keeping my abs locked in and my butt tight on this variation to ensure that I get maximal resistance going through the torso and the triceps. All right, there's my 90 seconds. We got one more round to go. Okay, so this is the final exercise of the routine. We're going to do Cuban rotations utilizing the rings, which is just a really good way to finish off the routine because it's working the external rotator of the shoulder, which puts the shoulder in a really good postural position. This is a movement that I always make sure that we look after the shoulders. The shoulders to me are probably the best area to look after if you want to improve your posture. So this is a nice exercise that can be done at a little bit easier variation. So again, we're going to put on a 90-second timer. Hey Siri, put on a 90-second timer.
1 minute and 30 seconds.
All right,
Counting
there we go.
down.
So I'm laying back. I've got myself at about a 45-degree angle. Again, guess what happens? The abs tighten, the butt locks up and under. From here, I've got a pronated grip, so palms facing down. Row up now. Look at the attention to detail here. I'm rotating open. See how the rings come up? So I've externally rotating the shoulders. I'm going to internally rotate my shoulders. Stop there. Release. Engage shoulders down and back. Row. Get the shoulders locked in. Externally rotated. Internally rotate. And release. So shoulders on, butt tight, abs tight. Avoid the lower back going into a hyperextension like that. Keep the abs tight, lock the butt in, externally rotate, internally rotate. It's actually quite a challenging movement not to hyperextend your back, because when you turn on the shoulders, the majority of people want to compensate and hyperextend their back, but we're not going to allow that to happen. We're going to lock the abs in and keep the butt nice and tight to stop that from happening. So just moving into that 90-second range. You really don't have to go to an aggressive angle of coming to underneath the rings because you'll overcompensate and use your lower back. There's plenty of time here to get enough load through the back of the shoulders, and you can see how I'm rotating with my hands rotating open. So it's vitally important that when you come back like that, you're pulling the ring like that. Don't let the ring just stay there. It's opening up there, not going like that. Okay, so I'll show you a different angle of this one. Okay, so this angle here will give you a really good understanding of the movement. So you see I'm not too far underneath. That's going to be way too difficult to do it at that angle there. So I highly recommend you don't get too much ego and try and make it too difficult. So you see I've scooped the pelvis up and under. I've got my abs braced, my butt tight. I'm going to pull my shoulder blades together, and then from here, row. Feel the shoulder blades switch on. Brace the butt, brace the abs. Now pull that ring open like that. Feel that squeeze. Don't over pull it because you'll lose the tension over there. So shoulders on, row. Keep the tension by keeping your body leaning back. And then internally rotate, lock it in, lock the abs in, Slowly release it out. Shoulders on, pull, row, internally rotate, and release. And you want to continue and get out that 90-second, up to 90 seconds if you can. Okay, fantastic. So that's the whole full routine all done. This routine, as you can see, you can drop set it. So if you're a little bit more advanced, you can go to the variations where you don't have the legs on the ground. However, if you're a complete beginner, you can do this routine and get a fantastic upper body workout just by placing your feet on the ground. I've had people, grandmothers who are in their 70s. Actually, I've got a client who is now turning 88, and he does this ring routine religiously every week, and he's developed upper body strength that he never had before. So he was the guy who couldn't open up a jar, and now he just crushes jars open just because he's got that immense strength through his grip, and it's really been a game changer. So what I'm trying to say is, no matter what your level, you can do the gymnastics rings training at home so much better than just going to a gym and lifting weights like the standard out there. There's a much better option. It's gymnastics rings.